Hello, and welcome to the Uncensored Journey podcast, a raw, unfiltered guide to truth that matter. We are diving deep, getting real about what it takes to truly transform inside and out. Ready for truth? Ready for transformation? You're in the right spot. I'm Cyndee, and with me, as always, is Gabriela. Now, let's get uncensored. Today, we have a special guest with us. With us today is Liliana Pinzen. Liliana is a seasoned entrepreneur with over 20 years experience in marketing, and she was struck by the benefits of fasting, and she was driven by a mission. And so she founded Fasting and Thriving in Florida to help combat the American health crisis. Her goal is to help individuals tap into their natural resources for optimal health and vitality. Welcome, Liliana. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do and where you do it?
Yes, Cyndee, thank you. It's amazing to be here. Basically, I am a regular person, not a doctor, not a super scientific person in the field. I just got always all my life oriented towards things that were powered by my own internal resources, trying to find the original of the situations and trying to find it from inside in, inside out. Basically, I started looking for different things in my health, nothing major, thankfully. And at the same time, my parents started to get old and to get their health going really bad, even though they're not that old. I realized that many of the life choices that they made and also the medications that they started taking many years ago had led them to a place where they don't want to be. My father has Alzheimer's, my mom dementia. So it's too late, unfortunately, to do anything about it. But well, I don't want to repeat that cycle, and I don't want my kids to be suffering from the same situation that I'm suffering right now. So I started investigating and just stumbled upon fasting. And the truth is I've seen such a great, amazing transformations with fasting that I just decided this is what I want to do. I still have my previous commitment with a company that I was working for 20 years, but I decided I'm going to cut half of that, my time there. I'm going to start promoting fasting because I believe it's part of my mission and it's something that I was looking for years without knowing it. And I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. We were wondering about the Buckinger. Well, I'm
Buckinger. Buckinger.
okay. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Buckinger was a pioneer in fasting in Europe 100 years ago. They're a little bit ahead of us in the US. And he discovered, because of his own personal reasons and health reasons, that water fasting was not as potent as he needed it or it was needed. So he started a different approach to fasting, prolonged fasting, not intermittent fasting, prolonged fasting. That water only fasting, they don't want you to do anything other than water and they don't want you to move or do exercise because you're supposed to be like limiting any calorie expenditure in your body to let the process work. And so he understood that movement and sweating and being in nature would not only be allowed, but also be potentialize the benefits of fasting. So he started that, but he was a doctor and he started a clinic where you can go if you are really sick or you have some level of illness that cannot be treated just simply. You need medical supervision. So he started a clinic. And nowadays, I think it's 3 clinics in Europe, in Switzerland, in Germany, and I think it's and Spain. I'm sorry, Switzerland, Germany, and Spain. But those are clinics. You need to register there. The cost is 3 times the cost of my holistic fasting, but it's because it's a clinic. 100% doctor's medical supervision. And but that's not it. That's what inspired me. That of course I'm not a doctor, and of course I don't want that in my as part of my project, because I stumbled upon also a company called Mia Juno, which in Spanish means mindfulness in Spain, that they have done like 13 years of retreats, 3,500 participants. And even though they have a doctor in the payroll for in case of emergencies, they have had no emergencies, no medical situations, and that merit the presence of a doctor. So in France, for example, nobody, unless you are in a clinic, you're not required to have a doctor to supervise a fasting. In Germany, the insurance pays for the fasting retreat because it's so commonplace and it's so well known that the benefits are great, and then really it is safe to do it 7 days, 10 days, 14 days without major complications or no complications in general. Of course, we don't want to see anorexic people with this kind of problems, or people with cancers or type 1 diabetes. Those cases need to be supervised by a doctor, but a regular person with a little bit of extra weight, with some pre-diabetic conditions, with high blood pressure, taking statins and all those things, can perfectly do a fasting experience without major complications. So that's basically the approach. Is based on the Buckinger method, but it is not therapeutic. It is not. It doesn't require a medical supervision all the time. It is basically incorporates more than water fasting, allows the walking and the exercising and the sweating and the other holistic approach elements that are very important for the mind, body, soul connection during the fasting.
Awesome.
That's great. And so what, if you were to give it a percentage from the Buckinger method, how much did you actually kept from it? Because you've said that it's inspired by this method, but not necessarily something that you follow. So in your retreats, how do you integrate it, and what percentage would you say that you're using from this method?
Basically, what I think is I use the whole approach in the sense that they promote walking, exercising, even 3 hours a day, hiking. They have beautiful locations in the mountains. So they promote hiking, they promote sweating, they promote massage, physical therapy, they promote yoga, meditation. So I kept all of that. The only difference is that we don't take patients that are really sick. We don't have a clinic. We don't have 100% 24/7 doctors supervising the participants. We do a checkup and we make sure they're not experiencing those kind of illnesses that are extreme for us. But other than that, it's the same approach. The idea is that through sweating and through having fun and through walking and being in nature and stretching and having some detoxifying therapies, you're going to contribute to the autophagy, or the process that comes inside your body while you're fasting. That's the idea.
And so, thank you. That makes sense. That sounds lovely. So according to what you know and what you've studied, at what point does autophagy start? And because you are using juices as part of your retreats, does the autophagy get slowed down because you are doing the juicing, or can you get more clarity around that? Because I know, based on what I know in my studies of autophagy, is that usually with most people, it starts, if you're doing a water fast, it starts about at between 18 hours to 30 hours. And it's really dependent on what the participant or what the person has been eating prior to starting it, and their condition and a bunch of other factors. But what is your
what we have understood from all the training and everything is even at every night when you go to sleep, if you leave enough time between your meals, your last meal and your first meal, if, if you leave at least 12 hours between your last meal and your first meal, you have some minor level of autophagy every night. The thing is that it's, first of all, is very mild, and it doesn't take time. It doesn't have enough time to really go deep and do the real cleaning. The better level starts at 18 hours. And of course, the more time you leave without eating, the better the benefit. The maximum benefit starts at the 72 hours. People are different, and some people switch earlier to fat burning. So if I am very flexible, metabolically speaking, I will switch faster. Some people might take more than 72 hours, but it all depends on the person. But mostly everybody after 72 hours makes the switch to fat burning. And then is when the autophagy gets triggered to the maximum. And of course, if you stop it on the day 4, you gain some benefits, but basically you stopped it before it can really get better and better. So it is, I have a chart that I can show you in other occasion where it says exactly what's happening, how the growth hormone is triggering at this time, and then what's happening with your other hormones. And because at the beginning there's cortisol triggered because the body doesn't know what's going on. So when there is cortisol, that process of fat burning doesn't get triggered. So the more you wait and your body knows that you are fasting and now you're going to reach that point of fat burning, then the hormonal change, and then you can switch to autophagy. And then if you are not under stress, because that's what I have learned, the greatest difference between anybody fasting, prolonged fasting, even short-term fasting, if you have a lot of stress, the stress hormones are not going to let you switch to fat burning. And the benefits of fasting, I'm not going to say get zero, but you're going to get a small percentage of the benefits the more stress you have. So that's why we promote a retreat. It's not because I want to make money through the hotel. I know it's a hard expense for most people to spend all that money in 1 week. But we see it really as an investment. When you go to a hotel, get away from your stress, get away from all the triggers that can make your life stressful, then is when you really experience all the amazing deep benefits at every level. So the stress component is what, for me, makes the huge difference.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I know that your retreats, there's mention of you incorporate juicing into it. Does that have any effect on the autophagy, and why doesn't it? Because in my readings, ingesting anything that's not water or like herbal tea is usually not recommended. So I'm curious about that.
Yeah, the theory that this Dr. Buckinger incorporated or explains is when you are sweating and when you are using calories in the physical activity, if you don't replenish, that's why the water only fasting said don't move, don't do anything, because they don't want them to use calories and then not having the replenishment. So when there is some calorie expenditure, and they're sweating, and then some minerals and vitamins are going through that process, the replenishment is only guaranteeing that you keep the level of energy, the resources that your body needs, not to faint, not to feel all the extreme, effects of the fasting. So I don't know chemically what happens in your body exactly when the juice enters your body, but it's only 250 calories a day. So if you're burning 500 calories during 2 hours of walking, and then you put on 250 calories, really you're in negative balance. So it should not affect. I don't know exactly, but the autophagy it's achieved. And I personally can tell you the times that I have done even water fasting only, but I've been working and doing my regular life during the day. And the day I went to this retreat and I let everything go and I just focused on my retreat, I had the juice and I had the broth. But the benefit of the autophagy, I can tell you, my metabolism got reset like 25 years earlier. Right now, I can eat anything. Of course, I don't eat trash. I don't eat bad food. But my metabolism right now is like when I was 25 years old. Because the reset happened during that week, in spite of the fact that I was having the wine, the juice and the broth. I'm not a doctor and I don't know exactly what's the effect in the moment that the juice is coming in your body, but long term in that week, it doesn't affect the results.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is
Cyndee, I
amazing.
know you had some questions about dry fasting as it relates to athletes and powerlifters.
I do, but before I get to that, I was wondering if Liliana could possibly give us an example of a detoxing therapy, like a specific detoxing therapy, or if you were talking about like the whole process is the detoxing therapy.
So the idea is that we walk in the morning, we do stretching, we do yoga, and in the afternoon, people have free time between, let's say, 12 noon and 6 p.m. They have free time. So we bring some therapists or some massage therapists that offer their services. This is added service because you can take it or not take it, and you can pay if you want to take it. But it's basically lymphatic drainage. For me, is the perfect match for fasting because it's gonna help you detox. It's gonna help you flush all the toxins that you have in your body. There are some reflexology, which is with your feet. You can do all kinds of therapy, massages in your face. Your skin is gonna look amazing. I can show you a picture of the days where I was doing the retreat and a picture of today that is, I don't know, a year difference. And you're going to say, really? Wow. My skin a year ago was like glowing because of the juicing of the juice, because of the air, because of the whatever. And I had massage both in my face and the lymphatic drainage, and that is like best thing. And the other therapies that we bring that both are included in the price is sessions with experts. And those experts are going to talk. One day is about mindfulness. Another day is about my relationship with food. The other day is relationships. How do we manage recognizing the style of the other person so I can relate better and have a better conversation. We have another one that is about communication, mindful and conscious communications. So it's a learning opportunity that also helps us expand and grow, because one of the things that you feel during those days is like your mind is amazing, expanding in a way that you probably haven't experienced in a lot of time. And that, with all the information and all the interactions with the experts and massages and the yoga and the meditation, all those things are just promoting expansion, detoxing, all kinds of growth and connections inside of you. For example, we suggest that people bring a journal. I'm not a journal person. I don't do that every day. normally, but I did during the retreat, and it was like a flow. We was just going. It's a very interesting process that is experienced because of all those opportunities to let yourself go into experiences.
Awesome. Gabriela mentioned I had some questions about fasting and being an athlete. Back just a little bit about me. I'm a competitive power lifter, so I'm in the gym 6 days a week, but I also do 45 to an hour walk every day before I go to the gym, and then I work out like heavy weights, right? My fasting in the past has been really difficult for me because not eating food or not macronutrient food, like rich food, I've gotten dizzy. Like I like in the middle of a walk had to stop and sit for a while because after 3 days of not eating, there was a problem. It was just caused a problem. And then somebody had suggested dry fasting to me. And I just don't see how that's possible for an athlete to do because I'm losing so much. I came home today. I was telling Gabrielle I had to change my clothes because they were just drenched in sweat. And so I'm losing too much water, I think, for that to be successful. But in the meantime, what I do is intermittent fast. So I don't eat after 7 and I don't eat before 11 a.m. And so I know I know you suggested here 18 hours, but it's 16 hours. But by the time I get home from the gym, I'm just like I need something. There's that. So I was wondering if you had any, like what your thoughts are on dry fasting, just in general and specifically for athletes, but also what your suggestion would be for somebody who is trying to fast, but also has to maintain 6 days in the gym
Yeah.
to compete.
Yeah. Dry fasting, my understanding, we don't do dry fasting. I think it's like a little extreme, but obviously I'm promoting fasting and or prolonged fasting, and people look at me like she's crazy. I'm not going to eat for 5 days. So they think I'm already extreme. But I think even though dry fasting seems to have faster result and deeper results faster, that's the way I've seen it. Of course, no drinking anything, not drinking any water makes it really tough for athletes. And because the body enters in a catabolic state, it starts breaking muscle tissue. So even resistant training is not advised during the fast. It is studied that after you come back to your regular routine eating, and you recover some of that because you trigger some mechanisms inside your body that are going to help you rebuild the muscle. But I would say I would not recommend it for a person that has that level of extreme weightlifting or even demanding runs or something that is really demanding of your body. It is recommended to sweat, but it's not recommended to go to the extreme because you might be dizzy and I don't know. It's not. I think it's an extreme conjunction, the two things. I know it has better results faster, but I don't know. I don't know if I even myself want to try that. I would try 16 hours to see what happens, but I would not get farther than that and dry fasting. It might be my ignorance on the facts, but yeah, I think I believe in being kind to yourself. And I don't want to do things that are too extreme, even if it's to get great results. For me, water fasting, it is doable. I have done it. But when I tried the other approach that has all these other components, I feel like it's more aligned with what I think it should be. Because you should treat yourself with kindness. Going to extreme races and not eating and not drinking is not kind with yourself. It is extreme. Having a group that is doing the fast with you allows you to build relationships and exchange opinions and become friends. So that is an opportunity to grow, to create something that is permanent and is expanding. The dry fast, I don't know if there's groups doing that, and it might be a little lonely and a little extreme. So I don't know. I don't think it's for me. I
So,
would not recommend it.
so what, with that said, just so dry fasting is out for athletes, in your opinion, I tend to agree with that because I
Yeah.
tried dry fasting just for the time that I didn't eat. So from 7 to 11, and I had over 200 pounds across my back and trying to do squats and trying to get back up. I was feeling lightheaded and I was like, no, I can't do this. So I had to go drink water in the middle and cut it off because it was difficult. But
If you want to try it, I would stop the exercise for that week, not do the extreme exercise, because the two things are too demanding and you're putting too much stress on you. That's stress. That's exactly what
agree.
you don't want.
I agree. I'd rather just do water fasting. Dry fasting, I just keep hearing about it. So I just wanted to see your opinion on it. I think it's extreme as well. And it's definitely not doable for somebody who's very active and stuff.
Yeah.
But what are your suggestions for fasting for people who are for people like me who are actively doing workouts, or, right now ramping up for a competition. So not working out for a week is not an option for me. But somebody who also wants to so just FYI for me, I'm also trying to lose weight in this process. I also have some issues with cortisol levels and hormonal imbalances because of a vegan diet that I had multiple years ago, but that's a story for another day. But trying to balance all that stuff out. That's why I started fasting in the first place. Intermittent fasting was to try to balance out those cortisol levels and try to balance out my hormones to some extent so that my weight will stop dropping. I did try an 86-hour. I fasted for 86 hours. I gained 2 pounds. I was like, this sucks. It was a water fast, and I had some broth, just a little bit of like bone broth on a cake. Each day I had 16 ounces of bone broth or whatever it was. But I gained 2 pounds. So was a little
Did you measure?
discouraging.
Did you measure the muscle mass? Did you measure the fat percentage?
I did not do that, but I also think it might have been the time of the month that I did it. So women have situations every month that can affect weight gain and loss. So I was a little discouraged, but I decided to try it again, and I made it like 71 hours, and I almost fainted. It was a hot day, but I almost fainted on my walk. So I was like, I'm just going to go home and drink some or eat something. So I ate something light. I can't remember what I had, but
I can put you in contact with my son-in-law, my daughter's wife. He's a weightlifter, and he knows all the theory of what to do, what not to do, right in the moment when you want to puff your muscles, when you want to just train hard. He knows all the theory. I don't understand.
that's fasting.
That's not my
In
thing.
regards to fasting?
No, he's not. He doesn't fast. He just knows exactly. He knows a lot of guys that know. For example, the day of the competition, they do things that they're going to puff their muscles. They're going to be even bigger, weighter. And then the next day, deflate. I don't know. I don't understand that.
Oh, he's a bodybuilder?
Bodybuilder, yeah.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to accomplish, but I wouldn't mind talking to him. But in the meantime, what are your suggestions for someone like me to try to fast?
My thinking is
Fasting.
you're doing the right thing. You're doing an intermittent fasting that is going to give you the calorie restriction that you need to drop some weight. I would say stay hydrated. And if you are fasting, try not to have stress. That would be my recommendation, because if you have stress, that's going to stop all the hormonal triggers that allow the fasting to happen. So I'm not an expert on weightlifting or bodybuilders, so I'm not your great advantage. But I would say your intermittent fasting it's a good choice. And you're going 16 hours,
16. I go from 7 p.m. to 11 a.m.
That's great. That's great.
And I usually end my fast with a protein shake, so I don't actually eat anything until about 1 or 2.
You're doing it right.
I do get calories, but When you are saying stress, don't have any stress, are you talking about like mental stress, or are you talking about physical stress? Because the physical stress on athletes' bodies is a real thing. We're putting our bodies through stress every single day for hours or so at a time. But the mental stress is something maybe is doable.
Are you exercising while you're fasting?
Yeah. So I do two workouts. I go for a 45 to an hour long walk, 45 to 60-minute walk in the morning, and then I go to the gym, and then I break my fast.
Okay. Sounds like you're doing the right thing. Sounds you're
Well,
doing the
can you tell my body that I'm doing the right thing and it should just start dropping weight faster?
yeah. Yeah.
Just let it know. Awesome.
Yeah.
I had so many questions, but I think you've answered them all. I just was super curious because fasting has been a thing that I've been interested in for a while, and you just never know what the
Yeah.
right way to approach that is, especially with like people are I see all these people online saying like fasting, but like the retreats, they're going on walks and they're having yoga and doing like low impact things. And I'm like, that doesn't work for me. It's nice to hear some other information that would align more to people with a more active lifestyle. What are your thoughts on, so would you recommend somebody like me who's actively working out 6 days a week to do long fasting? And if they're doing long fasting, would it be just water, or would you say like broth or protein shakes or something along those lines? What are your thoughts about that?
I would include protein shakes because you don't want to add any protein in your. It is basically vitamins and minerals.
Yeah.
And the protein shakes normally have other ingredients and it's probably more than 250 calories. So you shouldn't, I wouldn't add anything different. For me, it all comes down to stress. So if you can do a prolonged fasting, get away from stress and manage to do your exercise, maybe not as extreme for that week, because you want to be kind to yourself. You don't have the power behind of the food, of the of the protein, of the fat, or the other things. So I would say, be kind with yourself. Try to, if you're gonna do the prolonged fasting, try to minimize stress and add some minerals and vitamins. Basically, the broth is nothing because it's water with you boil the vegetables and you don't put any solids in the broth. So the broth is really nothing special and it's not delicious and it's not, oh my God, my time for the broth is here. No, it's not. But it brings you the minerals that you need from the vegetable. And the juice is delicious in the morning. It's basically apple, celery, carrot, and lemon, and that's all. That's all the ingredient. It's juiced. It doesn't have fiber, so it doesn't interact with your digestive system. So try not to put any protein or fat because that would stop the autophagy. That would definitely stop the autophagy.
So you're talking about like a vegetable broth, not like a bone broth or a chicken broth or
Nothing
no protein.
Nothing.
And then I have just one last question for you, and then we'll let you get out of here. What do you think is the best like success rate, or what do you think makes fasting successful? Is it your mindset, or is it your body just doing its thing, or do you have any other reasons? Like
If I continue saying, it is your body that has this miracle system that goes into recycling mode, which is autophagy after day 3 in maximum capacity. It is amazing what it can be. I have seen people in 1 week. They were pre-diabetics, they were high blood pressure, there were all kinds of complications. In 1 week, they stopped the medications for good. It's not a story, it's not a, it is for sure, is my brother. I see him every day. And he, in 1 week of fasting, he dropped his medicine. And his markers are all in the healthy side. He's still overweight, but he's super healthy. But of course, managing the miracle system is there, autophagy. But if you want to maximize it, it comes to your mind to try to avoid the stress. Do everything possible to avoid stress, because stress is going to kill the process if it's not doing right.
So it sounds like successful fasting is a combo of mindset and your body doing this thing.
Yeah. And the more fun you can have, for example, if you go to the gym and you're hating it, I'm just doing it because the competition is coming up and blah, 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 but I hate it. That's not going to work for you. It has to be something that you love and is bringing you pleasure, and you feel accomplished and you feel all the positive energy factors that you can bring to your life. And same with the retreat. That's why we promote the retreat, because it's fun, it's beautiful. You build connections, you feel your body detoxifying, you feel like you're really renewing your body in a multi-dimensional way. So it is really a combination of letting your body do the thing and helping not to become an obstacle to stress.
That sounds awesome. Any last minute questions, Gabriela?
No questions. Just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. We will put your details into the details of the description of the podcast. So if you guys want to reach Liliana, you know how to. And yeah, it's been really fun having you on the show. So
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
I want to second that too. Thank you so much for joining us today. And like Gabriela said, we'll put all your contact info or where we can find you on social or website stuff there too. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us this week. Please subscribe and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Uncensored Journey. And you can follow me at The Worth Warrior, and you can find Gabriela at Phoenix Medicine. And we will see you next week.